All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Travelers Championship recap in today's video. Tommy Fleetwood, unfortunately, seeking his first PGA Tour victory in 158 starts, saw another chance, another great opportunity slip right through his fingers. We saw Keegan Bradley come up huge on the 18th hole, and we'll talk about all this stuff, but he's now an 8-time PGA Tour winner. He's projected to climb to 9th in the Ryder Cup standings, and keep in mind, he's currently the U.S. Ryder Cup team captain just a few months away, and he's consistently mentioned that he will only compete if he's in the top 6 automatic qualifiers. So we'll pocket that, keep that in mind. But I think I speak for every golf fan out there, because it's interesting. Like, the Travelers Championship is, here's a fun fact for you, it's actually the most visited as far as like fans on the entire PGA Tour slate. Every tournament, every year, the Travelers Championship is #1 in attendance. All right. And I am a pro USA guy, right? Live in Florida, born and raised in Chicagoland area. Like, I'm pro USA, but everybody was rooting for Tommy Fleetwood, and everybody roots for Tommy Fleetwood to at least win a PGA Tour event. And like I said, we'll talk about the 18th hole in just a few minutes here. It just sucks to see an opportunity like that. Like, everybody just feels bad for him. His dad was in attendance. He really, really should have won that golf tournament, but Keegan Bradley, the hometown hero, he got it done. So Tommy Fleetwood, actually, before we get into it, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and try to start making more golf videos like this, because I do enjoy it. We have a golf podcast, the link's in the description, where we talk about stuff like this, but I kind of want to bring it to YouTube form as well. So yesterday, Tommy Fleetwood began the final round at 16 under, and he held the 3-shot lead over Keegan Bradley and Russell Henley, the final group. But trouble struck, I should say, pretty much immediately. He bogeyed the first hole. Henley birdied the first hole, and just like that, after one hole on Sunday, Tommy Fleetwood had just a 1-shot lead. So from there on, the momentum just shifted. Tommy Fleetwood had some momentum on the back nine, but nothing really going on the front, because Keegan Bradley caught fire. And on the 9th hole, he drained a 64-foot birdie putt on the 9th. And, Tommy Fleetwood comes in with a 37. It was a par 70 course. So Fleetwood's 2 over on the front nine, and he's coming off that 7 under 63 on Saturday. And so you go into the turn, Keegan Bradley and Tommy Fleetwood are tied at the top of the leaderboard at 14 under. And then right behind him, Jason Day, who was playing bogey-free round, and Russell Henley, they were one back heading into the back nine of Keegan and Tommy Fleetwood at 13 under. So the back nine, Tommy gets back to it. All right. And this was kind of crazy. This was the final signature event of the season, which really does suck, but it was a great field. As much jokes as people give the Travelers Championship, it's always a star-studded field. So Fleetwood begins his back nine with a 15-foot birdie putt at the par 3 11th. He adds another on the par 5 13th. Keegan Bradley, Russell Henley, they're not really doing too much. They're stalling at 16 under, and Tommy Fleetwood, with those 2 birdies, gets back to his 2-stroke lead at 16 under. But then the final 3 holes is where the trouble really gets in. And, like I said, we'll talk about the 18th hole in a second, but you could tell Tommy Fleetwood, and we've seen this time and time again, we've seen this in the Ryder Cup, like, the nerves just seem to get the better of him. So he overshoots his tee shot on the short par 3 16th and settles for a bogey. All right. Keegan makes par, and they both make par at 17. So these guys, the final group, Russell Henley, Keegan Bradley, and Tommy Fleetwood, they're stepping onto the final 18th hole, the 72nd hole of the tournament, and Fleetwood just, essentially probably needs to make a par, and obviously Keegan ends up making a birdie, so he would have needed the birdie to win, but it got even worse than that. So Tommy Fleetwood strikes the fairway, and then here's where the issue comes. So keep in mind, on 16, he flew it long and had to settle for a bogey. So Fleetwood struggles or contemplates his shot selection on 18 and ultimately ends up opting in for a shorter iron. So he lands just short of the green. Keegan also hit the fairway and just threw a dart literally right at the flag. He had less than 6 feet for a birdie to possibly force this playoff here. Russell Henley missed the green. He played first, and he actually ended up chipping in for 14 under. So We know you need to be 14 under to at least have a playoff berth if Fleetwood ends up 2-putting and Bradley misses his play or his birdie putt, right? So here's the thing. Tommy Fleetwood, right off the green, he's got a 42-foot lag putt, leaves it severely short. In fact, it was 7 feet short. So keep in mind, Keegan Bradley is literally right in front of him. He is right. Keegan Bradley's ball mark is right in front of Tommy Fleetwood. He's got the most beautiful look at it, and Fleetwood hits it. He misses it right. And, looking at the slow-mo, it does look like it kind of gets caught up there in a little bit. But, Keegan Bradley just saw the read. Tommy Fleetwood 3 putts for a bogey. And just like that, Keegan Bradley, all he needs to do is make this 6-foot putt for a birdie and the win. That's exactly what ends up happening. And then the rest is history. So, this was a really good tournament. Here's just the top 10. Keegan Bradley, Tommy Fleetwood, Russell Henley, Harris English, Jason Day, Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Brian Harman, Harry Hall, Justin Thomas, Lucas Glover. That was the top 10. So obviously there were some ties in there, but it was a really great field, and it was an electric finish. And I wish, no disrespect to like Harris English or Russell Henley, but I do wish it was one of those two guys and not Tommy Fleetwood to choke it away on 18 just so he could get his first ever PGA Tour win. But it is what it is. Keegan Bradley comes away with the win. Tommy Fleetwood really was a phenomenal sport about it. And that was your 2025 Travelers Championship. So let me know what you guys thought about yesterday's match or yesterday's event. Yesterday's event. Thank you for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button, drop that comment down below. We'll see you in a few days. Peace.